The night was calm, the skies ablaze with stars, yet one stood out, a radiant beacon, captivating all who gazed upon it. It wasn't just a star. It was a message, a divine announcement of hope, a call to action. This celestial phenomenon, known as the Star of Bethlehem, has captured the hearts and minds of believers for centuries. But beyond its historical and theological significance, it holds lessons about faith that are as relevant today as they were over 2,000 years ago. In this video, we will journey back to the time of Jesus' birth, exploring the profound meaning of the Star of Bethlehem and uncovering the faith lessons it imparts for us in the modern world. Stay with us as we delve into the significance of this extraordinary sign and discover what it teaches us about trust, obedience, and the relentless pursuit of God's purpose. The story of the star. The story begins in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 2, where wise men from the east, known as Magi, embark on a quest to find the newborn King of the Jews. Guided by a star, they journey through unknown lands, facing uncertainty and danger, fueled only by their belief in the sign they had seen. The Magi were not Jews. They were likely scholars or astrologers familiar with ancient prophecies. They represent the universal call of the gospel, God's message transcending cultural, national, and religious boundaries. Their decision to follow the star was a leap of faith, driven by their conviction that the star heralded the birth of a king whose significance would change the world forever. The star stopped over Bethlehem, leading them to the Christ child. Their journey culminated in worship, as they presented gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh, each symbolizing an aspect of Jesus' identity and mission. The star's purpose was fulfilled, not just as a guide, but as a testament to the power of faith. Lesson 1. Faith requires action. The Magi teach us that faith is not passive. It demands action. Seeing the star, they didn't merely admire it or theorize about its meaning. They left their homes, comfort, and safety, embarking on a perilous journey. Faith is often inconvenient. It calls us out of our comfort zones and into the unknown, urging us to trust God even when the path is unclear. How often do we feel the tug of God calling us to step out in faith, but hesitate? The Star of Bethlehem reminds us that when God reveals something, He also equips us for the journey. The Magi didn't have a roadmap or guarantees of success, but their determination to follow the star reminds us to act on God's promises, trusting Him to lead us to His purpose. Lesson 2. Faith brings unity. The star united people from vastly different backgrounds, Gentile scholars and Jewish shepherds, around one singular truth: the birth of Jesus Christ. Faith has the power to break barriers, uniting people in their pursuit of God. The journey of the Magi reminds us that God's call is universal. It's not limited to a particular group, but open to all who are willing to follow. In our modern, divided world, this lesson is particularly poignant. The Star of Bethlehem invites us to see beyond our differences and unite under the banner of faith, seeking God's truth together. Lesson 3. Faith demands worship. When the Magi finally found Jesus, their first response was worship. They bowed before a child, recognizing Him as the King of Kings. Their gifts, gold for His royalty, frankincense for His divinity, and myrrh for His sacrifice, expressed their understanding of His identity and mission. Faith that does not lead to worship is incomplete. The Magi's journey teaches us that true faith culminates in adoration, surrender, and the acknowledgement of God's sovereignty in our lives. How often do we pause in our daily lives to truly worship, to offer our gifts, our time, talents, and treasures, before the King? Lesson 4. Faith guides us through darkness. The star shone brightly in the night, a light piercing through the darkness. Similarly, faith illuminates our paths during life's darkest moments. The Magi's journey wasn't without challenges, but the light of the star guided them, just as God's Word and His Spirit guide us today. In a world often shrouded in uncertainty and despair, The Star of Bethlehem reminds us to look up and trust the light that God provides. He does not abandon us to wander aimlessly, but offers his guidance to those who seek him earnestly. Lesson 5. Faith protects us. After worshipping Jesus, the Magi were warned in a dream not to return to King Herod, who sought to harm the child. Their obedience to divine guidance not only protected Jesus, but also ensured their safe return. Faith is not blind. It listens and responds to God's warnings and directions. In our spiritual journey, there are times when God calls us to change course, to take an unexpected path for our safety or his greater purpose. Are we sensitive to his voice, like the Magi, willing to adjust our plans when God speaks? Modern implications. Today, the Star of Bethlehem challenges us to examine our own faith journey. Are we actively seeking God's presence, as the Magi did? Are we willing to leave behind our comfort zones, take risks, and trust God's promises? The star reminds us that faith is not about having all the answers, but about trusting the one who does. The journey of the Magi is a mirror of our spiritual pilgrimage. It's about moving from knowledge to action, from seeking to finding, and from finding to worshipping. It's about letting faith guide us through life's uncertainties and trusting that God's light will always lead us to his purpose. The Star of Bethlehem is more than a celestial event. It's a symbol of hope, guidance, and faith. It teaches us that God's plans are for everyone, that faith requires action, and that worship is the highest expression of belief. As we reflect on this story, may we be inspired to follow the light of God's truth in our own lives, trusting him to guide us, unite us, and transform us. If this story has touched your heart, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and comment "God bless you" below to spread a wave of faith and encouragement. And remember, you can find unique Christian-themed merchandise in the first link of the description. Gifts that keep God's presence close in your daily life. Thank you for watching, and may the light of faith always guide your path.